In 2016, the American Psychological Association found that 40 to 50% of married couples get divorced, and unfortunately that is just in the United States. As a child of divorced parents, I can assure you that life for me after the divorce has not been easy, and it's gotten harder for me as time goes by. Divorce can affect everyone. Obviously, the parents and the family, the friends, and ultimately everyone they come into contact with. But the most important people that are affected are the children. Divorce can affect the children in so many ways, but the ways that I want to focus on are the effects on the mental health, the social life, and then the relationship between the parent and the child. Since divorce is so common in the world, it's nearly impossible to come into contact with anyone who hasn't been touched by divorce in some kind of way, and it could even be you. I want everyone to understand why children of divorce are the way they are, why I am the way I am. So the first effect that I want to touch on is what divorce can do to the mental health of the children. Obviously, mental health is extremely important and can be manipulated and hurt in so many different ways. This risk is even higher for children. Many things that occur in the divorce can hurt the children mentally. One of these ways is how the ex-spouses or soon-to-be ex-spouses treat each other, especially in front of or near the children. Seeing the parents fighting or treating each other badly is extremely harmful for the child's mind, because most of the times they don't understand why this is happening. The time before the divorce and even after is such an intense and stressful time, and stress is a major contributor to mental illnesses. The pressure that the child can feel will eventually lead to anxiety, depression, substance abuse, academic problems, anger issues, and sleep disorders, and in some cases, teen pregnancy. In the mind of a child who is seeing their parents get divorced, for some reason it gets in their mind that it's their fault that this is happening, that they did something wrong that made their mom and dad angry. And so they believe that if they do good things, it will solve the problem, that mom and dad won't fight anymore and everyone will be happy. And when this doesn't happen, it creates even more guilt and pressure and stress on their still developing mind. I know that in my case, my siblings and I have been affected by a lot of these issues, and I know I still suffer from a few of these because these are lifelong effects. The second part that I want to talk about is how divorce can affect the social life of the child. Now, this can go either of two ways. Either the child will be extremely antisocial and quiet, or they will seem to be outgoing. I will explain why I put the emphasis on seem later. Now, in most cases, the child will be more antisocial and quiet, and for these children, it's been reported that they have a difficulty relating to peers, and they'll have fewer friends, and they feel just a lack of support from their friends and family and those that they know. And it's been shown that the more dysfunctional the family is after the divorce can increase how antisocial the child can be. It's also been shown that some of the children can be very vulnerable and others can be resilient. Now I'm going to explain why I said they will seem to be very outgoing. Children of divorced parents have a heightened fear of being rejected, and in order to hide that, some of these kids will go out and do anything that they think will get them to be accepted by their peers and anyone who meets them. Hence some of the issues that I mentioned in the previous topic. In this sense, the children are so much more vulnerable and they'll get involved with doing bad or illegal things. And I've seen this, unfortunately, in my own family, but in friends whose parents have gotten divorces, and this eventually shoots them in the foot. They typically lose their friends, their reputation, any trust that their parents had in them, and in a lot of cases, they get in trouble with the law. But in both the antisocial child and the outgoing child, they will have a difficulty with handling conflict, which will obviously cause many issues when they have to deal with people. The last part that I want to discuss is the parent-child relationship, and this is one of the most important things. In many divorces, the fight between who gets the kids or what type of custody each parent has gets very nasty very quickly. And sometimes the child can feel rejected if they feel as if one parent does not try hard enough, or maybe the parent who gets full custody is not the one that the child wanted to be with, and just a lot of this will ruin the relationship between the parent and the child. And some of this can cause a child to reject any contact with a parent, but it can also go the other way. And a parent could not want anything to do with the child. But either way, this child is getting hurt, especially mentally. Children of divorce have reported feeling a loss of parents and a loss of being parented. Now, we've all heard of the typical rebelling to get the parents' attention, but what people don't realize is how real this is. I have seen people crash cars, do drugs, date people who do very bad things, and so many other awful things simply because they want the attention of their parents. All of the stress of the divorce will weaken the relationship between the parents and the children, and it's an overwhelming feeling of the loss of trust between the two. How bad the divorce goes and how the parents and children communicate with each other will affect their relationship for the rest of their life. I've seen kids who hold grudges against one parent or even both parents for years, and this doesn't help anyone because it's just going to cause them more pain because no one is trying to fix the problems. Unfortunately, I don't think this statistic is going to get any lower for divorce. I believe it's only going to increase. Divorce is already so common, and we've all been touched by it in some way, and that's not going to stop. Divorce affects children for life, and since that statistic is only going to increase, we need to understand each other. We need to be able to help each other. We need to understand how divorce will affect the mental health, the social life, and the relationship between the parent and the child.